Hello, thanks for listening to me. I am Natacha Diaz from the University of La Laguna, and today I will be talking about a topic that I have been studying the last month, and it is the journalistic style for the learning of English as a foreign language. As far as I have read, I have seen different investigations about the use of journalism and its application for the learning of English as a secondary language, as a foreign language. And first of all, I wanted to do like a very, very small reference or definition about the concept of journalism that I have developed, which is a sociological medium in which aims to communicate about what is taking place at the moment. And remember that we have a pyramid according to journalism that we have to follow. According to what is the most important information goes on the top, and that kind of information that is not that relevant goes rather at the end of the article. And the idea of the different questions that you have to make when you are about to develop a journalistic production, such as, for example, what, when, and so on. I have investigated about the different authors that they have taken journalism as a medium for the learning and the teaching of the English language. And first of all, Reeser and Mitchell, they have considered that the journalistic style is a very realistic tool that can be applied for the learning of English as a mother tongue, but also as a foreign language. Secondly, there were authors such as Shagebaya et al. They have demonstrated that the use of the journalistic style, such as, for example, the radio, the television, or newspapers, provoked a high and contextualized learning of vocabulary. Also, Garcia Platero, who is a Spanish author, he has recognized the learning of orthography rules by means of using this journalistic style. Gomez has also claimed that the use of journalism in the learning of the English language has developed a great learning of the English language by means of written productions, because he mainly concentrated on the productions of headlines, okay, the most important idea about the text. So it kind of develops also the reading or comprehension, because you are taking a text which is read by students, and then the most important idea, or like a very, very small summary that you have to use to create the headline, was the typical activity that Gomez used, and that was applied for the learning of the English language. In the case of my investigation, I had mainly two aims. The first one was the development of the written skills, such as, for example, the written productions, the strategies that we usually taken into account and that we apply when we are about to write written text, okay? And also the comprehension of written text by means of this kind of digital context. In this case, I wanted to use two different kind of grammatical approaches. The first one was descriptive use of English, and the second one was a persuasive use of English. The third, and I could say also very important, was to get to know the process, the structure, and the different elements that take part in the journalistic phenomenon. For this reason, I have utilized the different methodologies that you can see in this slide, such as, for example, a learning-based situation, okay, in which we took into account a realistic and a very specific situation. In this case, this investigation was done during the quarantine. here in Spain. The second one was the learning and collaboration technologies applied. As I told you before, I developed this investigation during the quarantine in my country, and it was a learning situation that was totally applied and created in a digital context by means of using different digital tools that the students had, and also the means of communication and collaborations that the students had was by means of digital tools too. Learning by discovery was also a very important aspect for me, because I wanted students to get to know about the world, about what was going on. Not because I was about to tell them, just because they could be able to reach full information, and specifically for a good information and information that has good quality. The fourth methodology that I applied was a contextualized learning. In this case, as I told you before, we were during a quarantine, so the students decided to talk about the socio-economic, the health situation, also here in my country, in Spain, and also in several countries that are mentioned, and a holistic learning of skills. As you will see, we have mainly developed the written skills and the strategies, but also the oral skills were needed for the construction of this social task. For this reason, we have developed a newspaper in which students had to collaborate, they had to use different sources of information to create this newspaper. And as you can see, this is the cover of the newspaper, and we could notice on the results that there was a use of the digitalized English. So students, they realized, they figured out that they had to adapt the English that they were using for this social task, and also that they had to take all this information that was given to the audience, and they had to give like a very small summary, or to write down in a few words the main idea of the news. In this case, there was a headline production, okay, which kind of summarizing a strategy, and also they learned the journalistic structuration by means of getting to know what kind of news goes first, what kind of news goes after, how to order information according to its relevance, and so on. This was one of the most important articles that were developed during the social task. As you can see, there's a kind of an information recapitulation in which students had to take into account different sources of information that of course they had to mention at the end. Then there was a connection between the articles that they created and also the advertisements. As you can see, are you a basketball lover? And they also created different advertisements that you can see here. And of course, you can see a contrast between the kind of objective information that they are given and the subjective information that they have created in this newspaper. So it's kind of that they are using at the same time the two grammatical references that we wanted them to learn. This is another example of two advertisements that I wanted students to create. As you can see, the first one is about themselves, about the class, and of course it is fictional. And as you can see, they are about their own interests, the kind of hobbies or the personal tastes that they have, and that made, of course, the project much motivational. And of course, the second advertisement that the students have created. We also wanted students to get to know the process of interview, okay, that when creating an interview, we need to take into account that there are several processes that need to be developed. For example, the pre-interview in which students decide to interview one person, they have to consider the reasons why. Also, they have to create the questions that they want to make to the interviewer. There is, of course, the process of the interview itself that students have experienced. And finally, of course, taking into account the most important information that interviewer has given, okay, and portrayed in the newspaper. So as you can see, they have chosen a normal person, a civil person who's not famous. Her name was Zaira Mendes. Okay, sorry. And they took three questions that they wanted to portray here, which were: have you ever been asked for that wall? What could you tell to those who believe in that wall? And the last one, which I can read: so what is the origin of this wall? So students took a very interesting topic, which was about those Spanish people that believe that there is a wall in the middle of the ocean of the Canary Islands, okay, and this girl is talking about how these Spanish people can think about that there is a wall in the middle of the ocean, that it is impossible. So the second journalistic production that they have experienced was opinion column, which is totally different from the rest of the journalistic productions that they have found, because in this case they are given their opinions, okay, so totally subjective, and of course they have to create not create, but they had to consult a lot of information, and they also had to develop the ideas or the topic, and of course given different argumentations about their opinions. The last one, the last part of the newspaper is very interesting, because during the previous social task, students were learning about the future, and in this case, I decided to apply the idea of the horoscopes in order to make it part of the newspaper, of course, but also to practice a little bit more of the uses of the future. And students have been, of course, in this case, they have used creativity, and they are trying to be persuasive, and they are trying to influence the audience by the means of the use of you, okay? You will start living in a boat regarding personal projects, you will build a pool in the forest, you will move to India, and there you will find your real love this month, but your friends will hate him or her. Of course, there's a great creative development here, and also the linguistic structure that is being used, in this case is the prediction, that I think that was very interesting to be applied in the newspaper. And the conclusions that I have reached are that the written productions and strategies, and also the importance of the reading production, the reading comprehension that is being developed and obtained from these kind of learning situations, the learning of new vocabulary by means of discovery, also the practice of orthographic rules and formal voice learning, the digitalization of English, the use of persuasive linguistic structures in the second language, and the format and newspaper constructions learning. This is the bibliography that I have used, and I want you to thank you very much and have a nice day.